Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa, and today I thought we would try to get in one Halloween card. I am a little unprepared because I wasn't expecting Halloween to sneak up on me so quickly. So we're going to get one Halloween card in before we move on to Christmas. So today we're going to use the Pretty Pink Posh Halloween Signs Stamp and Die set. Now this is super cute, and I thought we would just go ahead and make it really simple and do a grid type card. So I've already got in my Misti my stamps lined up. I am starting with 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just so I can get these images inked up. And I'm going to make sure that it's all the way in that corner because we will re-stamp after we color with our alcohol markers. So we are using HoneyBee's Intense Black, and we're just going to get these images all inked up, and we're only using 4. On the stamp set, there are actually 6, but I just went with the top 4. So let's get this inked up. See how that looks. And you know what? We are going to stamp it again. So we only need one more time, I think. And I just wanted to get at least one Halloween card in before we start with Christmas. So I've got very simple coloring going on here. I've got my Copic markers. Gosh, you can't even see that number anymore. I've used it so much. We've got C3, FYG2, C7, BV11, and then just black. And then I always have my colorless blender on hand for any mistakes that you might make. So let's just start over here. I'm just going to do basic coloring. I'm going to do my spider, and I'm not doing him in black because I still want to see his face a little bit. He's got a little smile going on there, and I don't want to completely black it out with black ink. So we're just going to lightly color him in, just like that. Perfect. And then for my bat, we are also going to be using the C7, and we're just going to do basic coloring, but then I'm going to come in afterwards and do a little bit of highlights. I hope everyone is doing fabulous. I will have everything listed and linked in the description below. It is nice and cool here today. You know, I am so going to miss summer. I do love it when it's warmer, but I am so happy to not have the air conditioner on. I like fresh air. I like the doors open and the windows open, and I just like lots of fresh air. And I can finally do that. And it looks like my marker got a little away from me in a couple places. So that's why I always like to have my blender, my colorless blender on hand, and you can just push that ink back where you want it. Even with a dark color like this, you can just push it back and nobody will know the difference, especially since we are going to color over it, or actually stamp over it again. So let's let that dry. Let's do the other side of the bat, same as the first side. I will try to be a little more careful here. So we're just doing basic coloring. And I'm just going over the top of his wings a little bit more to make them a little darker. And then I'm just going to kind of flick here, just to give it a little definition, a little accent in those creases of his wings. And then I can go again over the top of his wing, just simple coloring. And I did it again. I went out of the line. I think it might be my marker. I think the nib on my marker might be. I'm usually pretty good about that. But just push that ink back and nobody will know. So now let's do our cauldron. So for that, I'm going to bring in black, but we are going to also add in that dark gray that we did with for our spider and our bat. And this card is so simple. I just wanted to get in at least one card before Halloween is here. So I'm just going to take this black marker and kind of flick towards the center of my cauldron, just like that. And then we're going to blend. Just going to fill in around the edges very carefully. And then I'll bring in that darker gray. And we're just going to push some of that dark ink into the middle, but not all the way. We just want to kind of blend in those harsh lines, and that will give the appearance of a light source in the middle. So just like that. And we can go over this as many times as we need to. Just move that ink just like that. And then I'm going to bring back in my black and do the little feet. And then for our magic potion in the cauldron, I am just going to color this with FYG2. It's a fluorescent green, so it'll be like bubbling potion in the cauldron. Then I'm going to bring in BV11 and I'm just going to color in the frame here on our bat. And that's a light purple. So I think what I want to do is, normally I would do like a light gray on my ghost just to give him a little highlight. But let's give it a little interest. Let's kind of do a little light purple and see how that turns out. So we're just going to kind of highlight around the sign, around the bottom of his sheet there, his body. Then we can bring in our blender and we're just going to blend out that purple just to give him a little shadow, a little interest. Perfect. I might have added a little bit too much alcohol in there. That needs to dry. There we go. So now we can go ahead and we can already stamp our sentiments. So I did already get my sentiments all lined up. We are going to put this in there and we are going to stamp in different colors. So let's see, for our bat, we are going to do green, and I've got Trick or Treat. So we're just going to stamp that right in there. We do need to ink it up a couple times. Then let's move on to our spider. For our spider, we are going to use purple. These are Pink Fresh inks. And I will have everything listed in the description below that we are using. Let's just get that inked up a couple more times. These are small sentiments, and I don't really want to push too hard. I just want to give a little pressure, but I don't want to smush the letters. I want the letters to still look really nice. Oh, and our Boo to You. That poor ghost. I think I might have messed him up with the purple. We'll try to fix him. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I think I stamped the wrong one. I did. We want our ghost, Boo to You, to be purple. And I think I'm going to do that Trick or Treat one more time because I got a little bit of purple in there. There we go. Now it's green. Perfect. And then for our cauldron, we are going to use white. So for the white ink, I've got Pink Fresh Calico, and that is this Happy Haunting. And we do need to stamp this a couple times because we are stamping on black. And I just want to make sure that it really shows up after it's dried. I think that's probably going to be good enough. And this is a pigment ink, so always try to get the pigment inks off of your stamps as soon as you can. It's not like a dye ink. It will leave a mess on there. So always try to get that off right away. There we go. Now we need to just die cut. After I try to fix my little ghost hair. So I'm just going to move that alcohol back in there. There we go. I am going to let that dry for just a minute. Okay, so that alcohol dried a little bit on our ghost. And I think it looks pretty good. So let's bring back in our black. Perfect. Now we can die cut. I got all my dies lined up. We're going to go ahead and cut these out. We've got all our images, and now we can work on our background. For our background, I am bringing in the Spellbinders Spiderweb Background Press Plate. So we will be using a piece of cotton paper, and I'm just using the Crane's Lettra here. And I want to lightly ink this with gray. So I am using Misti Coast, and I'm not going to put a lot of ink on there, just a little bit. And then I'm not even going to tape this to the platen. I am just going to pop that in there, put my cover on, and run that through my machine. And then I've got my spider web with just a very faint color of gray on there, just to give it a little definition. I didn't want it too dark because I didn't want it to take away from our images. So now let's go ahead and put this card together. I have a top folding card base here, and then I've got 2 pieces of paper cut out with my Favorite Things Dynamics. I'm using the second largest rectangle, stitched rectangle, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a purple background or a black background. So let's just kind of place our images and see what we think. The purple's cute. Or the black background. You know, I'm not sure. I really kind of like the black. The purple's a little more cutesy. Let's do black. So let's go ahead and add our panel to our frame, and then we're going to put the whole thing on our card base with some foam tape. So I got my panel attached to my card base with foam tape. I went ahead and I added little foam squares to our images, and we can get those placed where we think we want them. And we're just doing a simple grid, just like that. Then I've got Happy Halloween in green and purple. I don't know which. I think I like the green better. I think I want a little more green. So let's get some foam tape on there. Foam squares, actually. I think that's going to be so cute. All right, let's get everything attached. That is looking so cute. So now we need to add some sequins. And there we go, a super cute, super easy Halloween card. And I am loving the purple accent on our ghost. And that colorless blender really pushed all that ink back where it was supposed to be nicely. You can't even tell. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I will see you later. Bye-bye.